If an average worker wanted the kind of money AI founders are making right now, they wouldn't need a promotion. They would need a new lifetime, and another one, and probably a few more after that. Because the people shaping artificial intelligence today aren't earning salaries, they're building entire digital economies from scratch. But here's the wild part. The richest person in AI isn't the one you think. It's not the face in the headlines. It's not the guy who made ChatGPT. And it's definitely not any old-school tech billionaire trying to jump into the new era. Over the last 5 years, a handful of founders quietly built companies that supply the world's intelligence. The chips, the data, the models, and the knowledge itself. And their rise happened so fast that most people don't even know their names. Not yet. So in today's video, we're going inside the new world of AI wealth, a world where data is currency, computing power is oil, and a single breakthrough can turn a startup into a billion-dollar empire overnight. And if you think you already know who sits at the top, wait until you see the final name. Because the real richest AI billionaire stayed in the shadows until the moment AI took over. But to actually understand the rise of AI billionaires, you have to start underground. Not in the metaphorical sense, I mean literally underground, inside freezing server farms the size of football fields. Inside those rooms, millions of tiny mathematical engines chew through data at speeds that would melt anything built in the early 2000s. And behind the locked doors of one of those data fortresses is a quietly explosive fortune. CoreWeave began as a small crypto mining setup run by 3 friends who figured out how to push their servers harder than anyone else. But when crypto winter hit and the market crashed, most miners died. CoreWeave didn't. Instead of shutting down, they spotted something everyone else missed. The same chips that solved crypto equations were perfect for training AI. Overnight, their warehouses became the oxygen tanks of the AI boom. Every major startup lined up, begging for compute. And the man steering all of it, Michael Intrator, watched his tiny operation transform into a multi-billion-dollar powerhouse.
And we are joined by Mike Intrator. He is the CEO of CoreWeave. Mike, thank you very much for joining us. Your stock rose today, saying that you're going to spend $6 billion. I've been doing this a long time. Normally when companies spend money, their stock goes down. Why do you think there's so much buzz around this topic right now?
Thank you for having me, and the event downstairs with President Trump was extraordinary. The people in the room were phenomenal, and I think the stock is, stock rise because they rise, but I think the way the market is interpreting it is that when they see a company like CoreWeave come out and invest money in the data center space, it is indicative of the depth of the demand for the services that we provide.
Well, most people have never heard his name. CoreWeave became the engine that made the modern AI race possible. His net worth crossed $6 billion, and he did it without ever becoming a public face. No books, no keynotes, no fame, just raw infrastructure. But while some billionaires build the machines, others build the intelligence that runs on them. 1,000 miles away, a teenager was solving math problems so advanced, his teachers thought he was cheating. He skipped grades, finished college early, and by the time most people were choosing their first jobs, Alexander Wang was building a company that would become the memory of artificial intelligence.
First time on the show, Scale AI founder and CEO Alexander Wang. His company provides accurately labeled data to help companies train their AI tools, and back in 2022, he became the youngest self-made billionaire in the world.
So yeah, first of all, the AI race and the AI war between US and China, I think, is one of the most important issues of today. We took out a full-page ad on the Washington Post on Tuesday saying that, America must win the AI war.
Scale AI started as a simple idea. Feed AI better data and it becomes smarter. Today, Scale labels everything from self-driving footage to military satellite scans, teaching machines how to see the world. And Wang, barely in his 20s, became one of the youngest self-made billionaires on Earth. Both men changed AI in different ways, one powering the machines, the other teaching them how to understand reality. Every breakthrough in AI needs 3 things: power, data, and direction. And while some billionaires built the power and others mastered the data, a different group focused on the minds behind the machines, shaping what AI could become and what it must never become. Joe Lonsdale understood this long before the rest of Silicon Valley caught on.
Joining me now, Joe Lonsdale of 8VC, co-founder of Palantir, and also a board member for the Reagan Institute, and that's where we are, the Reagan National Economic Forum.
It's a beautiful place. Thanks for having me, Morgan. We're here to celebrate freedom and courage in fighting communism and American business.
He was barely out of college when he co-founded Palantir, a data intelligence company that governments now rely on to analyze everything from financial crime to national security. But what most people don't realize is that Palantir wasn't built like a typical tech startup. It was built like a modern intelligence agency, mixing software, geopolitics, and prediction models that bordered on science fiction. After Palantir, Lonsdale launched 8VC, a venture firm specializing in companies building the foundations of the AI future. From biotech algorithms to autonomous defense systems, 8VC became one of the most influential power centers in tech. And along the way, Lonsdale's fortune surged into the billions, not from trending apps, but from backing the systems that quietly shaped the world. But while Lonsdale mastered the strategic side of intelligence, another founder was focused on something far more human. Brett Adcock wasn't interested in spy tools or surveillance networks.
And you wanted to work on humanoid robotics. And you move super fast.
My belief is that the humanoid robotics will not only build the biggest business we've ever seen by many, many multiples, but it's going to be also the biggest product launch we've ever had. You're basically building like synthetic humans that are going out and just doing human-like work.
Why did you want to do that?
This is like the ultimate meta problem for a founder. It's an extremely challenging business, but it's going to build perhaps one of the most important businesses of our lifetime. It's just like, it's hard.
His dream was much stronger. He wanted to build a robot that walks, learns, and behaves like a person. Figure AI looks like a robotics company on the surface, but beneath the mechanical limbs and polished metal is a synthetic brain designed to learn through movement. Factories, warehouses, and even homes have begun exploring the idea of humanoid labor, and Figure's progress turned Adcock into a billionaire almost overnight. His robots don't just follow commands, they adapt through AI-powered reasoning, the same way humans learn from trial and error. Two men, two visions, one teaching machines how societies operate, the other teaching machines how humans move. Together, they pushed AI beyond software and into the physical world, turning intelligence into something you can touch. And here's the part nobody expected. While these AI billionaires were rewriting the rules of business, the ripple effects started hitting everyday creators. Suddenly, the same intelligence fueling billion-dollar empires was helping small channels explode in ways that didn't exist a few years ago. And one of those tools is Tube Magic. It gives you the same advantage the big channels use, scanning topics, predicting what will rank, and helping you shape videos the algorithm actually pushes. If you've ever wanted to start a channel or scale the one you already have, this is the kind of leverage that saves you months of guessing. The link is in the description, and do check it out. Once you see how creators are using AI to amplify their reach, it becomes easier to understand how the next founders used the same advantage to build billion-dollar companies. You see, before AI became a global race, most people assumed the next big breakthroughs would come from giant tech companies. But some of the most surprising fortunes were built far from the spotlight, by founders who weren't trying to dominate the world, they were simply trying to fix problems they personally hated. Michael Truell was one of them. He didn't start out trying to build an empire.
We realized we were really inherently excited about the future of coding, and I think we took a step back and realized that if we were being really consistent with our beliefs, there was going to be an opportunity for all of coding to change in the next 5 years and for all of software development to flow through models. It felt like no one working on the space at the time was really taking that seriously. It felt like they had great products and they were making them a bit better, but they weren't really aiming for a world where, all of coding as we know it today gets automated and building software ends up looking very, very different.
He just wanted better tools for programmers, something faster and smarter than the old software everyone kept using. The result was AnySphere, a platform where AI helps engineers write, test, and deploy code in ways that feel closer to collaboration than automation. What looked like a niche idea exploded into one of the fastest growing AI development ecosystems, turning Truell into a billionaire before most people had even heard his name. But on the opposite side of the tech universe, someone else built a fortune by focusing on creators instead of coders. Lucy Guo entered Silicon Valley young, hungry, and allergic to the idea of following rules.
My daily routine is essentially waking up between like 5:30 a.m. to 6 o'clock a.m. every day, and I quite literally just roll out of bed, then I go straight to Barry's. And one thing about me is I literally got my house specifically because it's 5 minutes away from Barry's and 5 minutes from the office, so I can reduce my commute and I don't really need a car, which is awesome. I shower and I hit work. Afterwards, I'm usually just in like back-to-back meetings. I try to sometimes block off time because like I need to like be in Figma and like actually give feedback on design. Because I'm usually working until maybe like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I'll get dinner, then I'll go back to work, and then...
She co-founded Scale AI in its early days, but later shifted toward her own vision, building Passes, a platform where entertainers and entrepreneurs use AI to manage audiences, automate content, and scale personal brands without huge teams. Guo wasn't trying to compete with the biggest AI labs or fight for model dominance. She built tools for people who wanted independence, and she did it so well that her valuation crossed the $1 billion mark while the industry was still trying to figure out how she moved so fast. But while Silicon Valley chased scale and infrastructure, one of the most unexpected AI fortunes came from a place almost nobody expected: mobile storytelling. Yao Runhao built paper games long before the world cared about large language models.
各位大会17年好，无限暖暖从12月上线以来，受到了非常多的关注和支持。这1个多月以来，我看到了很多我小时候的故事，说姚仁浩遇水即溶，姚仁浩小时候追着星星跑，姚仁浩小时候自行车89度上坡。
His games blended art, narrative, and simple mechanics, but the real innovation was behind the scenes. Paper games quietly used AI systems to generate dialogue, character behavior, and branching storylines that reacted to players in ways traditional scripts never could. As the technology matured, so did the business. What began as a niche studio quietly turned into a cultural force across Asia. Players weren't just tapping through levels, they were interacting with characters that felt alive. The company scaled into multiple titles, each one using more advanced models than the last. When the valuation crossed the $1 billion mark, most people didn't even notice, but industry insiders did. They realized entertainment was becoming one of AI's largest and most profitable testing grounds, and Yao was ahead of everyone. On the opposite end of the spectrum, another founder was shaping the direction of AI itself. Dario Amodei walked away from one of the biggest research labs in the world to build a company focused on a single idea.
I get very angry when people call me a doomer. When someone's like, this guy's a doomer, he wants to slow things down. You heard what I just said. Like, my father died because of, cures that, could have happened a few years later. I understand the benefit of this technology.
Advanced intelligence needed guardrails from the very beginning. Anthropic started with a small team of researchers, but its models quickly became some of the most capable language systems ever released. The company took a different approach from its competitors, emphasizing safety, alignment, and long-term development over quick releases. That philosophy attracted some of the largest funding rounds in the entire industry. Governments, enterprises, and AI heavyweights lined up to work with Anthropic, and Dario's stake turned into a $1 billion fortune. While other founders chased scale, he chased stability, and the market rewarded him for it. As AI systems spread across the world, countries began realizing something uncomfortable. Whoever controlled the most advanced models would control the future. And in China, one founder moved faster than anyone expected. Lian Wenfeng launched DeepSeek as a direct challenge to the dominance of Western AI labs.
Meet Lian Wenfeng, the brains behind DeepSeek, the Chinese AI app challenging OpenAI's dominance. But how did a finance expert from Guangdong disrupt the world of artificial intelligence?
The company's early models were good, but what shocked the industry was their speed. DeepSeek iterated so quickly that even established companies struggled to keep up. Their approach was simple: fewer press releases, more engineering. No hype cycles, just quiet breakthroughs. When DeepSeek released a model that matched global competitors at a fraction of the cost, investors poured in, and Wenfeng's net worth crossed the $1 billion mark almost immediately. For China, DeepSeek was more than a company. It was a sign that the AI race was no longer one-sided. For Wenfeng, it was proof that you didn't need a Silicon Valley address to build world-class intelligence. But while DeepSeek expanded across Asia, another founder was taking aim at something entirely different: knowledge. Not entertainment, not robotics, not infrastructure. Actual knowledge. Arvind Srinivas created Perplexity with a simple idea.
To ask follow-up questions that doubled the engagement time on the site and also increased the number of questions every day. So I was like, okay, there's something here. It's not worth killing and pivoting to enterprise. It was not like I want to go and kill Google, like that sort of a motivation. It was more like, what is an idea of that scale and ambition is something like this.
Give people direct answers instead of endless search results. What started as a cleaner search engine turned into one of the most advanced AI research tools on the internet. Perplexity didn't try to replace search, it tried to fix it. Faster responses, transparent sources, and models trained to behave more like experts than chatbots. Researchers, students, and entire companies began using it for everything from scientific summaries to business analysis. And the platform's growth turned Srinivas into a billionaire in record time. DeepSeek pushed national competition. Perplexity pushed global curiosity. Together, they represented a new phase of AI, one where intelligence was no longer just a tool, but a resource people depended on every day. So now you've seen how it happened, not through social media celebrities, not through old tech giants, but through a completely new class of builders. People who didn't wait for the world to change, they engineered the change themselves. Some came from research labs, some from gaming studios, some from robotics warehouses or intelligence firms. But they all had one thing in common. They understood that the future belonged to whoever could teach machines to think. But to really understand how this new AI landscape formed, you need to see the person who quietly supplied the entire industry with the power it runs on. You see, the world talks about models and algorithms, but none of them work without the chips that train them. And that is where Jensen Huang changed everything.
Regret I have about XAI, we're an investor already. The only regret I have is I didn't give him more money.
NVIDIA began as a gaming company, building graphic cards for a growing PC audience. But while the world focused on games, Jensen pushed the company into parallel computing, a field that seemed too experimental for most investors. Years later, that decision became the cornerstone of the AI boom. The same chips meant for graphics turned out to be perfect for training intelligence at massive scale. As demand surged, NVIDIA transformed from a hardware brand into the backbone of global AI. Startups, research labs, governments, and Fortune 500 companies needed NVIDIA's processors, and each new breakthrough pushed the company higher. Revenue passed $40 billion, the valuation climbed past $2 trillion, and Jensen's personal net worth rose with it, placing him among the richest AI builders on the planet. And while Jensen supplied the engines that power intelligence, someone else helped shape the intelligence itself. Sam Altman stepped into OpenAI with a simple belief.
I think it is possible that we put, GPT-7 or whatever in everybody's ChatGPT. Everybody gets it for free. And everybody has access to just this crazy thing such that everybody can be more productive, make way more money. It doesn't actually matter that you don't own the cluster itself, but everybody gets to use it.
That advanced intelligence would change everything once people could reach it. OpenAI started small, running experiments that sounded ambitious but distant. Then the breakthroughs accelerated. The models grew more capable, training runs expanded across continents, and the moment ChatGPT launched, the entire world moved at once. Students, creators, companies, researchers, doctors, coders, and entire governments began relying on it. Adoption spread faster than any technology in history. The impact sent OpenAI's valuation past $80 billion, with revenue climbing toward $2 billion a year. Sam's stake turned him into one of the highest-earning AI founders, but his influence reached far beyond money. He became the face of a new era, pushing the industry towards safer development while still driving forward at breakneck speed. And as these founders rose, something else became clear. AI didn't just create billionaires, it created entire ecosystems. And today, it's everywhere. Which brings us to this. If you're watching this video, you're already ahead of most people. You're paying attention while the world is shifting again. And if you've ever wanted to build something online, this is the moment to do it. You don't need a team. You don't need a studio. You don't need million-dollar equipment. You need leverage, and in 2025, leverage comes from AI. That's why tools like TubeMagic are becoming essential for creators who want to grow faster without wasting years guessing what works. TubeMagic analyzes content, reads the algorithm, finds winning keywords, and helps your videos reach the people who actually want to see them. The same way AI helped turn unknown founders into billionaires, it can help give your channel the boost it needs to finally break through. So as we watch this new era unfold, don't just be a spectator. Use the tools that are available, build something of your own, and stay tuned because the next story worth telling might be yours.